There is a single marshmallow sitting on a table, and a 4-year-old is trying not to eat it. You have heard this story. You have probably been told it explains why some people win at life and some people do not. But almost everything you were told about that marshmallow is only half true. And the half nobody mentions is the half that can actually change your life. So let me tell you what really happened and what it means for you tonight. It starts at Stanford University in the late 1960s at a preschool called the Bing Nursery School. A psychologist named Walter Mischel wanted to understand something simple and enormous. How does a person wait? So he ran an experiment. Between 1968 and 1972, hundreds of small children sat down at a table, one at a time. The offer was always the same. Here is one treat. You can eat it right now. Or, if you can wait about 15 minutes while I step out of the room, you can have two. Then the adult left, and the child was alone with the temptation and the clock. Behind the wall, through a hidden window, the researchers watched what each child did next. Some kids caved in seconds. The treat was gone almost before the door closed. Others fought, and the way they fought is the part everyone forgets. The children who lasted did not simply grit their teeth and stare the marshmallow down. They looked away. They covered their eyes. They sang songs, kicked the table, and talked to themselves. In one of Mischel's own findings, kids waited far longer when the treat was hidden from view than when it sat right in front of them. With the treat in sight, the average wait collapsed to around 3 minutes. Out of sight, it stretched close to 9. Sit with that number, because it is the whole secret in miniature. The winners were not stronger. They were smarter about what they let themselves look at. Mischel had a name for what was happening inside those children. He saw two systems in the mind, one hot and one cool. The hot system is fast and emotional. It sees the treat and screams now. The cool system is slow and thoughtful, and looking away is how you hand it the controls. Years later, Mischel followed up on those same children as they grew, and the results were the kind that turn a study into a legend. The kids who had waited longer tended to score higher on their SATs as teenagers. They tended to reach higher levels of education and to manage their weight and stress better as adults. So a story took hold, and it was a tidy one. Willpower is destiny. Some children have it, some do not. And the ones who have it simply win. That story went everywhere. Into books, into classrooms, into 1,000 motivational speeches. And I understand why. It is clean, it is dramatic, and it puts everything on you. But a story that puts everything on you can also quietly crush you. Because if self-control is just something you either have or you do not, then failing feels like a life sentence. Here is where the science got honest, and where it got useful. In 2018, a team led by a researcher named Tyler Watts decided to test the legend properly. Alongside Greg Duncan and Haeun Kwan, they ran the marshmallow test again at a much larger scale. The original follow-ups leaned on small groups. This time, the analysis covered more than 900 children. That is roughly 10 times the size, and a far more mixed and realistic group of families. At first, they saw the same pattern. Kids who waited did tend to do a little better later, but then they did the thing that separates a good study from a good headline. They accounted for the children's backgrounds, family income, the home they grew up in, early learning. And when they did, the marshmallow's magic mostly melted away. The link between waiting at age 4 and succeeding as a teenager shrank dramatically once background was factored in. An extra minute of waiting still predicted something, but something small. A faint signal, not a spotlight. And that shrinking signal is not a failure of science. It is science doing its job, correcting a story that had outrun its evidence. So do not hear this as self-control being a myth. Hear it as self-control never floating free of the life around it. So what was that famous marshmallow actually measuring all along? A lot of the time, it was measuring the life the child already lived before they ever sat down. A child from a stable, resourced home has learned that good things arrive when promised. A child from chaos has learned the opposite, and eating now is not weakness. It is wisdom. The marshmallow was never a pure test of willpower. It was partly a mirror of the world each kid trusted. And there is one more experiment that proves this beautifully, and I love it. In 2012, researchers at the University of Rochester added a twist before the marshmallow ever appeared. The team, led by Celeste Kidd, first showed each child whether the adults around them could be trusted. One group met reliable adults. A promise was made, and then the promise was kept. The other group met unreliable adults. A promise was made, and then it quietly fell through. Only after that did the classic marshmallow test begin. The children who had learned the room was reliable waited about 4 times longer than the ones who had learned it was not. Around 12 minutes for the trusting group, around 3 for the group that had been let down. Same treat, same clock, same age. The only thing that changed was whether waiting felt worth it. These were not different children with different souls. They were the same kind of child, reading different evidence. A child who trusts the future can wait for it. A child who has been burned protects what is in front of them. Read that slowly, because it flips the whole picture. The environment was not the backdrop to the test, it was the test, which means self-control was never just a trait locked inside you at birth. It is partly a bet about whether the world will hold up its end. So here's where this becomes yours, tonight, in the life you are actually living. If waiting is a bet on a reliable world, then your job is not to become superhuman. Your job is to build a world you can safely bet on, and to stop betting against yourself. Remember the children who won, by looking away, not by staring the temptation down. That is the whole strategy. You do not outmuscle temptation, you get it out of your sight. The phone that pulls you is the marshmallow on the table, so take it off the table. Put it in another room. Willpower spent resisting is willpower you never should have had to spend. This is the quiet truth under all of it. Systems beat willpower every single time. Do not rely on being strong at midnight when you are tired. Design the choice at noon when you are clear. Here is a second tool, almost embarrassingly simple. Decide your response before the moment ever arrives. Psychologists call these if-then plans. If it is 9 at night, then the phone charges in the kitchen. If I want to quit, then I give it 5 more minutes. You are deciding before the storm, not inside it. And when a craving hits anyway, do not fight it head on. Just tell yourself you'll wait 10 minutes. Most urges are not commands. They are waves, and waves pass. Lay out the clothes, delete the app, close the door. Make the good path the easy path, and build your own reliable environment, because trust is not just something you are handed. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, however small, you teach your own brain the world is worth waiting for. Say you will walk for 10 minutes, then walk for 10 minutes. That is, you becoming your own reliable adult. Self-control, it turns out, is not a gift you were born with or without. It is a skill, and it is trainable. You are not stuck with the willpower you had at 4. You get to raise it on purpose, starting now. So forget the old legend that some people are simply built to win. The child who waited was not stronger than you. They just trusted the room and looked away from the treat. You can do both of those things on purpose. Build a room you trust and remove what pulls you. That is not about being perfect. It is about being kind enough to yourself to make the right thing easy. You are not failing a character test. You are just running the wrong experiment, and today you get to change the setup. If this gave you one thing you can actually use, subscribe and stay with me. We build the quiet stuff here, one honest step at a time. I am Atlas. Take care of your attention, design your world with intention, and I will see you in the next one.